What do you got, Hector or Buckeye?
Good morning.
Good, good right now. I think Mark's going to become a paid consultant to the 34 team.
I doubt it.
No, the 34 team doesn't want. They're not paying me a dime. It's a hit campaign, if anything. They want me out of here. I branded the 3 to 4 win team.
I thought. Well, I'll talk to June, Buckeye.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for Mark.
No, I think I'm
I
the
mean, they
groom to
did. They
the
did
bit.
convert a Bills fan, which is crazy.
Hey, Mark, if you don't take the offer, you got to go sit at a game with Petey and watch the Jets get destroyed.
Well, I mean, I'm out of state. I'd be thrilled to be at a game with Pete. And I mean, I'm not a joiner, so there's that. But yeah, man, I think. Look, I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I think Pete, if they're going to roll into the league year with Tyrod Taylor as
That's not
the
who's going to be
starter,
the starter, Mark.
All right.
Tyrod won't be the starter.
Who then?
What'd you ask?
sorry, technical difficulty. I said then who?
TBD. They're not going to roll a season with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod's there for a backup.
So you're going to pry Justin Fields off of Steelers roster? Is that the plan?
I mean, we'll see what the Steelers do with him. I don't think he's going to stay with the Steelers.
And you're gonna give a first year offensive coordinator with a defensive minded head coach, also a rookie. You're gonna give him a quarterback that can't read the defense in a West Coast scheme. Does that sound?
So let me ask a question, right? Mike Tomlin, would you say he's kind of at the precipice of needing to win a playoff game? Do you think that's like he's running out of time to not win a playoff game?
All right,
Who's this, Tomlin?
earbuds.
Do
My
you think
earbuds
Tomlin needs
disconnected,
to
so
win a playoff game?
I spared the answer. Look, the Jets aren't winning much next year.
No. Mark, I'm just asking: does Mike Tomlin? Do you think he needs to win a playoff game this year?
Man, no, he doesn't. I don't
You
care
think?
about the Steelers either.
No,
Listen, they're
no, no,
gonna
no.
be.
But there's a reason I'm asking. Why would he run with a guy that you say can't read a defense? Why are the Steelers organization that are a playoff team willing to run with a guy that you claim can't read a defense, but the
He
Jets?
can't read a defense. It's not me claiming that he can't read a defense. There's documented evidence that he
So
can't.
why would the Steelers want him, Mark?
Because in their scheme, their mindset is okay. Justin can run. Maybe we could teach him how to like put the ball where it needs to be. If he feeds it to George Pickens and we run the football and play solid defense and be a great football team outside of that position, then we can win more games.
And why
We can
can't the
figure it
Jets
out.
do that?
That's their philosophy.
Why can't the Jets do that?
Because, all right, because Tanner Engstrand. Okay, how would you compare? Look, let's do it like this. Let's do it with a question. How would you compare Justin Fields to Jared Goff as quarterbacks? And I'm not looking at the stat line. I'm looking at
Polarizingly
how
different
they play the
quarterbacks.
position.
Polarizingly different quarterbacks.
Dramatically different.
Yeah.
Goff was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in football last year. And we heard that from Tom Brady, not from, Jets Twitter spaces. Tom Brady said. So my perspective on it is, why would you hang a quarterback who can't read a defense or whatever? Maybe you could develop him to read a defense. Why would you hang that on a first-year offensive coordinator in this market when the fan base is going to be like, wow, we just got dollar store Mike LaFleur as offensive coordinator and dollar store Saleh because it's a defensive-minded rookie head coach, and here we go again. Why would you create that problem when you can avoid it wholly by getting someone in there that can play, that can actually run Engstrand's offense?
Who, Mark?
You don't even
Who's
know
the
what
better
his
option?
offense is, Mark.
Okay,
Who
so
would be a better option?
No,
what I know about
hold on. I don't
Engstrand,
want to let Mark off on this. You just said run his offense. What's his offense?
Okay, so what we know about Tanner Engstrand is that he's out of the Ben Johnson tree, right? He wants to run West Coast concepts. He wants to stretch the field horizontally. He wants to use a lot. These are the concepts that he wants to use timing wrap. Like this is the sort of he needs a highly accurate passer to run his scheme. They do want to stretch the ball downfield. That's going to be part of it. They're going to run a lot of 12 personnel, is my guess, if they have the people to run it. Um, they're going to run some in-breaking routes. That's going to be something Jet fans haven't really seen. Like they're going to run a lot of that. If you want a really good write-up on this, Nania did a really nice write-up
Do you want Tyler Warren with the 7 pick?
Of what his scheme will look like.
Do you want Warren with the 7 pick?
Oh, I don't know.
So you're talking about running 12 personnel and we got no tight ends.
Well, Buckeye, you're telling everybody why this is a 3 to 4 win team. They don't have the personnel to run the scheme and system that these coaches will need to be successful.
But you're saying
Does
we're going to
anyone
run
doubt
12
that?
personnel.
Is that crazy?
But
I hate getting treated like I'm cuckoo nuts bananas in here when all I'm trying to do is speak sense.
no, but
And folks don't want to hear it.
But you're saying we're running 12 personnel and we have no tight ends. But you're saying we're going to run a specific offense. So I'm just saying, you don't know what offense he's running.
What I'm telling you is what personnel. Look, Tanner Engstrand watched Ben Johnson run one of the most effective offenses in football last year, and he's gonna. And look, I don't think that players suddenly, like coaches, suddenly change everything about themselves when they get a new role. They would instead want to start by what has been successful, and then use that as the foundation to build off of, because that's what they know. And I think that Engstrand's going to want to run a system. He's going to want a quarterback that is where Goff has seen some success. He's going to want that style of quarterback that he can work with. And build
Hey, Mark, I don't think you're crazy at all. I think anybody that's lusting for Justin Fields right now is insane.
Thank you.
Like the Steelers got a taste of him for a year and said, "Now we're good." Like you got the guy already. It's Tyrod Taylor, bro. I don't understand how you guys don't see that.
Dale, they haven't
That's your
moved
bridge
on
guy.
from Justin Fields. In fact, there's the rumors are that they're digging in with Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. You haven't seen it differently than
And
that.
Dale, the narrative is that what? No, I don't want to say narrative because whatever. The fact that Tyrod can't. I'm afraid he can't stay healthy, but when the guy stays healthy, I mean, he's around 500. He wins, and Jet fans would sign up for a 500 season.
And his injuries are kind of freak things. But listen, like where I agree with Mark is he's explaining. I would also agree. I think more likely they're going to want to run an offense that's similar to what fucking Detroit does,
Correct.
which is mainly
dome.
it's mainly running the ball. So the West Coast thing, fine. They got some great plays down the field and they get the ball downfield, but they're a running team. They're trotting out 6 linemen. They're running duo. They're running power. Like they're a run first team. And I think if you want to compare someone to Goff, Tyrod Taylor's the guy, bro.
Dale,
He's an accurate guy
I
that's
like
not
to
going to
bet.
take
I'm
huge
not good at it,
chances.
but I like it. I will bet Tyrod Taylor.
You draft a guy this year, whatever. You got the bridge guy now.
Jordan Travis hasn't passed a physical, Dale.
I get that, and that I say his name because you drafted him, and he's one of your prospects.
I know, but that GM doesn't exist here anymore. So the GM that drafted him doesn't even exist here. So now you're gonna have a new GM take another guy's 5th round pick
But
and
that
name
was
him
your
the starter who
boy,
hasn't passed a
Buckeye.
physical. He is my guy, but you're a new GM is not taking a late round draft pick of Joe Douglas who hasn't passed a physical and creating that as the plan.
I mean, while you have him under contract, I'm sure he's going to get a chance.
I don't think so.
That you don't
Buckeye,
even think
to be fair, they will. To me, they will play him in the preseason if he's healthy.
But
they got to see what
preseason's meaningless.
Correct. I agree. I'm not saying that. I think they'll look at him.
Maybe I'm jaded because I'm a Bills fan and he played for the Bills and he played really well for us. But I think Tyrod Taylor's a good quarterback, dude.
I'd have to look at the numbers, but Tyrod Taylor's a highly accurate quarterback. Because Mark's narrative is highly.
Was he a franchise guy? No. But was he really good? Like, arguably, he might have been the best quarterback until we found a
But
franchise
but
guy that
Mark's
we had.
trying to compare Jared Goff and then went to Tyrod Taylor. We're all over the place here.
Hold on. I'm pulling up the stats.
The problem with Tyrod
Tyrod
Taylor is keeping him upright for a full league year. And under normal circumstances, let's say the Jets would have drafted a quarterback high this year, right? So you play Tyrod half the season. Okay, Pete.
Tyrod Taylor's career quarterback rating is 88.9. He's
The
got
only problem.
12,000. He's got 12,254 yards.
That's nothing, man.
Hold on. Let's see his career. His completion percentage is 62%, 61.9, which would be
That's not
low.
highly accurate.
Correct.
Which goes against what Mark said.
Well, to be fair, though, like the Giant year where C.J. Mosley, I remember that game because I was there, and C.J. Mosley, I guess, landed on him and he cracked his rib or whatever. But that year, 64.4%. 2019, 66%. Yeah, and they're all sporadic. I mean, he hasn't played a lot. But when he did for Buffalo, 62.6 in 17, 16, 61.7, and 2015, 63.7. And he didn't finish the year because in 2015, did he play that game, Dale, against the Jets?
No, they benched him for fucking Nathan Peterman.
That's right, because we fucking lost that game. Kembrell Tompkins.
We all know a guy who's in his mid-30s with a total of 12,000 passing yards who can't stay healthy is not going to be the starter. And Jordan Travis, a guy who hasn't yet passed a physical, who was drafted by a GM who's no longer here and drafted late, is not going to be the backup. Like, what are we doing?
100%.
I think we're preying on the quarterback. We're spending a lot of time talking about a guy who's not going to be a Jet.
Oh,
that's what I think.
Mark, let me ask something. Let me ask something real quick. Just say, because I've been seeing stuff now about Shador Sanders and he's whatever. If he falls to 7, do you take him?
I think you have to. The
Right.
Jets don't have will we fall to 7 is the question, but look, the Jets are going to have to take a quarterback every year until they find something. Like, I would fully expect them to take one this year. If Shador or Cam falls to 7, like, you have to do it. Are you kidding?
Don't have an answer at quarterback.
So the Giants and Raiders. So the Giants and Raiders pass on the guy. We got to take the guy.
Yeah, but the Giants may trade for a quarterback. They may trade for Stafford, which is wild.
I guess the way I look at it, Buckeye, is if I take injury out of it, and I guess you have to, I guess you can't. But if I take injury out of it, out of any journeyman quarterback available right now, I don't think there's any of them are close to Tyrod Taylor, bro. I really don't.
I think
Dale,
he's a winner too. He's got respect in that locker room too.
Bro,
they like him.
Player, man.
He hasn't won in over 5 years.
This is crazy, man.
Tyrod Taylor.
I'm going to take this as Dale's trolling you.
No, I'm legitimately.
I don't think
he is.
Start naming me the journeyman quarterbacks that. No, I'm not at all. Start naming me the journeyman quarterbacks that you think are better than him.
Yeah, Dale. Wait, Buckeye, real quick. Dale gets happy when we talk about Matt Collins, that he was right about him.
Well, if he has 12,000 yards in how many seasons of playing football?
Wait,
didn't Winston have 5,000 in one season?
Listen, Buckeye, all I can.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Buckeye, all I can go off. You know what? I don't hate Winston, but I don't see a defensive coach wanting a guy that turns the ball over so much. But here's my thing. Is if you look, you got to look at Taylor when he started and just look at the situations. Like, he was going to start for the Chargers, and then they fucking punctured his lung. Like, the team doctors punctured the dude's lung, fucking not doing their job right. That's how he lost that job. Every other job afterwards, he was brought in to be the backup.
Yeah, Herbert was going to sit behind him.
That was 5 years ago, guys.
What are we doing, man?
Really played.
Bro, journeyman's, listen, guys like him in the situation you're in, there's just not a starting quarterback available for you, or they'd be starting somewhere. So your starting line is journeyman.
I'd rather take a shot like Tampa did with what's
Baker.
his name? Baker, and just roll with that. To see somebody that's going to get hurt, and then
Bro,
it's going to be
The Browns are idiots, bro. They traded Baker, who was playing under an injury, who played really well
Yep.
for them and got
Agreed.
them deep into playoffs. They're like the
But
Browns.
but Dale, he was available to the entire NFL,
Yes, but
right?
that's too late. That's not going to happen again, bro. Like, listen,
it
we
Because
were
it
happened with
happened
on.
with
Darnold
Sam
last
Darnold.
year.
You just saw it.
It happened with Darnold last year.
Caleb, just jump in.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, man.
What's up,
Uh,
Caleb?
Me personally, I would take Jacoby Brissett if he's available because he's actually a competent QB. He'll put up decent numbers, but just take You could take Jackson Dart in the second round. I don't think nobody would reach for him in the first.
Caleb, I don't hate what you just said because I think he's a really good journeyman too. But he's also a guy you got to look at that gets injured every time he plays, bro.
True. Well, like no matter, I keep telling people who need quarterbacks, like y'all keep um, wanting these free agent or guys that are available for trade, these vets. Like there's a reason why they're available. Like there's a reason why. So if you have a chance to get your own, just get your own. But
How's
you
Jacoby
know,
Brissett our own though?
no, I'm saying in the draft.
Oh,
I'm not
I hear you.
saying
I
yeah.
hear you.
I'm talking about freak like veterans like Matt Stafford's and those people, those type of quarterbacks. Like, there's a reason why they're available. I'm not saying Matt Stafford is trash, but you need the guy for the next 10 plus years.
I'm still stuck where
If
Mark said we know we're going to look for a highly accurate quarterback, and he said Tyrod Taylor. I'm still stuck on that one.
Well, stay
highly
stuck on
accurate,
it because that's the guy that's going to be rolling out week one.
I guess.
I think.
Listen, again, I'm not trolling you. Number one, I think the Jets are closer than people think, which is the craziest thing I'm saying that. But I think drafted Fashanu last year is the reason why. To me, you draft another lineman, you build that line. You got something for an offense if you can consistently run the ball that you can build on, especially with a young quarterback. Defensively, you still got some good players. I don't see it that out of the realm of the possibility that the Jets can be better than people think with a new coach injecting a new culture and fucking getting guys fired up, get more of his guys. As long as they continue, like that's one thing that Douglas did that'll transfer to any GM, will transfer to any offensive coordinator, is when you build the offensive line. Those guys are going to unquestionably stay. And as far as I'm concerned, you're one lineman away from having a really good line.
Back to because we said Darnold, right? Goff was also a similar type thing. He was a throw in that trade, and look at how that worked out for Detroit.
Well,
But
I don't know if he was a throw-in, but the
they
first
did.
round
what?
picks, the
Peter, did
first
they
round
do it?
picks helped for
Did
real.
they do it for the draft picks, or did they do it because they wanted Goff?
Well, yeah, he was going to be a stopgap, Goff, and
And
now
look
he's
what
their
Bro,
happened.
now he's their
here's
quarterback.
another thing. You guys act like the fucking Vikings just went and got Darnold and they're geniuses. The quarterback that they were going to start got hurt. Darnold was brought in to be their backup.
Right. But that's what we're saying. Get somebody like that, and you hope and pray that maybe something like
Yeah,
that will
yeah.
happen.
Well, I'm not
It's not
saying
going to
the
happen with
Vikings are
Tyrod.
geniuses.
We're not a playoff team. We're not even a 5-win team.
See,
Nah,
I
you
think
kind of bugging with
I think if
that.
you hit another lineman, you could be better than you think. Like I'm, dude.
We're gonna win, in my
You're
opinion.
gonna win more than
I don't think we're
five.
gonna be 3-14 and 4 and 3 and I'm keep going back to the old
Petey,
style.
forget the wins
Three
and
and
losses. We're
14.
going to pick 1, 2, or 3. That's where we're picking.
Okay. You know what, Buckeye? Honestly, I actually will
Nah,
bet you on that.
pick number,
I don't know who will hold the money,
pick top
but
three.
yeah,
Yes.
You really
I
believe that? You really
nope,
believe that with your head coach? Like
Yes.
he's not
no,
like,
no way. He
bro.
signed
Like
up for
he's,
that,
bro.
Glenn.
You're gonna win more
He
than
Buckeye,
five
hasn't
I
done
don't
games.
nothing
understand why.
yet,
Wait.
guys.
Buckeye, I don't. Dom, you 1 sec.
Mhm.
I don't understand why you're so negative now. Like you were Mister Gung Ho
Because
on this team,
they're resetting this team. We went for it.
but
It
they're
didn't
not
work.
though.
They
They're
are.
not. How? But
The
all right.
situ-
Let me hear the coach today when he
Hold on.
talks at
Hold on.
12:15.
First of all, Petey, he's not Bill Parcells. He's not
Nobody's
Sean.
saying. All right,
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
He's not
Yep.
Sean Payton. We don't have any freaking wide receivers. We're missing an offensive lineman. We don't have no tight ends. We don't have no defensive tackles. We don't have safeties. We don't have linebackers. And
Free
we got a
agency
shitty
didn't start.
Oh
draft.
my
Okay, so
Because
wait,
the,
hold
god.
on, Hector, hold on.
yeah,
So Chuck Clark's not replaceable. He's a first ballot Hall of
but
Famer,
you're
right?
okay. Anybody's replaceable.
Tony Adams isn't replaceable.
Okay, so who are you going to replace them with to make them a 500 team?
Let's see who becomes available.
You know, we
I
have a
think the
little
Jets
cap
are going to
left.
actually do bargain shopping because somebody's going to get cut.
Dom's been waiting.
Listen, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be as trash as people think. That's all.
Right, I get
That's
that.
just my
But there's
opinion.
teams that have money with better situations for this. We got to build this thing through the draft. And number one thing to do that is you got to get a draft pick high enough to get you that quarterback next year.
Pete, do you like it?
So then
Pete, do you
why?
think this
Go
team's
ahead.
better than the Patriots this coming season? You think the Patriots, once with their spending money and Vrabel, you think we're in a better position this year than they are?
No, but if the Jets were better than the Patriots last
No,
year.
slightly. Yes, slightly. And you know the Patriots had gutted the roster with a rookie. Like that team was bottomed out, and we slightly were better.
Yeah, the freaking Ulbrich was awful in game 2. We should have blew them out then.
Their
Right.
roster stunk last year, New England. Like it shouldn't have been close, to be honest
Dom,
with
go
you.
ahead.
We have one proven wide receiver.
All
One.
right. Well, let's see. But Hector, let's see who they signed.
This is
Let's see
wild.
what the
This is really really wild to me that we're in February and we're complaining about the status of the roster. The roster hasn't even started to be
I agree.
formed out. This is just it's absolutely asinine.
Listen, hear me
How are
out.
you going to
It's
rebuild?
absolutely asinine. But I don't want to harp on that. I want to talk about what Dale is talking about. Because although I love Dale and I respect Dale, we don't usually see his takes and my takes, at least I don't necessarily always agree with him. On this one I do. All right. Look, Tyrod Taylor was brought in to be the backup. Absolutely. After the debacle of what happened a couple years back, and Aaron going down 4 plays in, and maybe Woody putting the clamps on the amount of money that Joe Douglas can spend, and having to go back to Zach after it was supposed to be a reset year. Every single person in this space or in Jets universe said, listen, one of the big things we have to address is we have to get a viable backup quarterback, right? Backup quarterback. He's hang on. Can I speak? Thank you. He is probably a top 40, top 38 quarterback in this league, meaning he's at the top echelon of the backup quarterbacks, right? What is a good backup quarterback? Somebody that can come in and kind of hold the tide and not turn the ball over and not lose games and so on and so forth. Absolutely. That's why they signed him to a 2-year, $20 million contract, right? Of which he's getting paid $7 million this year. All right. Fast forward, Aaron Rodgers, they made the decision, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the decision they made. Okay. So are they going to go with Tyrod Taylor? If they do, it's not going to be the worst case scenario. I think they're going to bring in some, they're going to either bring in another veteran quarterback to compete with them. Maybe they go and draft a guy later on. You know what I mean? But as a bridge quarterback, even if it's for a year, we watched years and years of Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson. If you think that Tyrod Taylor is gonna produce worse than Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson, I don't know what to tell you.
No way.
I know. It is
That's
not.
What I'm saying.
This is the definition of what a bridge quarterback is. In an ideal situation, he wouldn't. He wasn't brought in. We didn't go and sign him this offseason to start our team, to be the starter on our team. He was brought in to back up Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the guy's 35, 36 years old. Dale said it before. This is going to be an extremely. I think that Aaron Glenn and I think the Jets via Aaron Glenn and Tanner Engstrom are going to want to induce an identity, and I think their identity is going to be aggression on defense, and it's going to be ball control and really running it down your throat on offense. So
keep in mind, Petey, I want to ask
What
you a
can you
legit
predict
question.
for next year?
I don't predict anything in February. I don't even know who's going to be on the 53. Just to me, I'm not saying it to whoever asked that, but to me, it's the most fruitless exercise in the world to predict how many wins we're going to get in February. We don't even know who's going to be on the roster.
Petey, can I ask you a legit question?
Sure.
What's been the Jets' Achilles heel for the last 3 to 4 seasons?
Coaching.
No.
That Aaron Rodgers.
Wrong.
No, that's not wrong, Dale.
Legitimate.
Coaching.
Coaching
has been.
Dude, it's your offensive line.
No, it's not. It's the coaching.
Dom, listen to me.
No.
Who you throw back at quarterback over the last 4 years, they didn't stand a chance. Like, your line's been so bad. And again, you get football and you see it at its highest level, and you want to see the most fucking intricate version of the game, when the truth is it always goes back to its purest original form. At the end of the day, the fucking secret to building your offense, the difference between you being a Super Bowl contender or not, it is probably the franchise quarterback without a doubt. But the difference in you just being a good team that's a playoff team is your fucking offensive line. Your offensive line's been so bad over the past 3 years. Bro, you're a right tackle away right now.
Dale, thanks for your thoughts, but what does the last 3 years tell you about this team? That we've had the bottom, probably not even the worst coaching staff from head coach straight down. And technically
quarterback play too.
We haven't developed an offensive player. We haven't developed an offensive player in the Saleh 3.5 year tenure. As a matter of fact, players have regressed over time. Fourth rounder. All right, go ahead, Dale. If you're gonna talk, I'm gonna mute. Go ahead.
Dom, the reason why I don't agree with you is I could name players on your offense that did get developed. And look,
who? Go ahead.
Guys, listen, Dom.
Who developed? Who got developed?
Fucking your center.
That I agree with that.
Your guard.
Hang on. First off, Joe Tippmann,
second round pick.
Joe Tippmann was a second round pick. Garrett Wilson was the fucking 10th pick overall.
Bro, it doesn't matter. They got better. Like, Dom, listen. This is the thing that I see when I talk to Jets fans.
Don't do that. Hang on. Don't do that. Because you're talking from a pedestal, like you're talking down to us, like we're lowly. That's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you said.
Dom, I didn't even mention the Bills whatsoever, or fucking any pedestal, more than I'm making a general statement when I talk to Jets fans. When you guys are done with a coach or done with a situation, mind you, it tends to happen quicker with you guys more than most of these other teams' fan bases. It's that guy sucked. He's the fucking worst. That was.
But Dale, if you draft a center with the second round pick, he's supposed to be a starting center in the NFL.
Yes, but Buckeye, you're talking about a guy that could be a top 5 center.
We developed a receiver who's had 80 catches and 1,000 yards from the number 10 overall spot. No, he just happens to be good. He just happens to be good.
Teams drafted guys in those positions that didn't succeed. But listen to what I'm saying. Is if you go back to Robert Saleh, I'm just fucking for 2 years. Had you had an offensive line, which to me was the Achilles heel of your team, and could run the ball and play some sort of decent offense, because your flaw was that your defense was incredible, your offense was a fucking joke. And to me, the biggest, easiest fix that your team needed was an offensive line to at least be able to adequately run
What
the
happened
ball
to the Colts, Dale?
drives.
Why didn't the Colts succeed? Colts had a pretty goddamn good offensive line, right?
Because their fucking secondary was so bad, their defense was a joke.
All right. Anyhow, listen. Let's get back to Tyrod Taylor for a second. This is to me, I think it's the definition of what a bridge quarterback is. If there was, like everyone says, let's go find Baker Mayfield. If there was Baker Mayfield out there, more power to you. Let's bring him in and let's roll the dice. Do you think Justin Fields is Baker Mayfield? I personally don't. But if the Jets brass does, then so be it. I mean, we're talking about a guy who will be on his third team in 5 years. My guess is he doesn't have it. You know, I don't know. I don't know. So I think.
I have a question. Why do y'all want to, or maybe y'all don't want to, but what is the obsession with old recycled
Well, what are the
quarterbacks?
other options?
When
What
you
are the other
got
options?
well, I'll give you an example, and now this may not happen just because it's in conference, okay, or in division, but you got a guy like Joe Milton you could trade for, probably for a
Wait,
pretty
but who
decent
said?
draft pick.
Wait,
That's
wait,
not
wait, wait,
gonna
wait.
kill you.
How you
That
doing,
don't
man?
make
Off
sense
season.
though.
Good morning. Number one, is Joe
How's it done?
Milton available? Why would the Patriots trade
You,
him
You're
right
also
Yeah,
away?
that
counting a
yeah, that don't
preseason.
yeah,
We're
that don't
looking at a
make
preseason
yeah,
guy.
season.
everybody's
Yeah, that's
available.
kind of wild.
Everybody's
Listen, what I'm
available, so
saying,
you know that for a fact.
Now we're
Okay.
trading for a
they will
preseason
make
guy.
people
All right,
available
wait. Let me hear this guy, please. Let me just hear him,
because
and then I'll
everybody's
rebut
available
this.
if you give them the
Okay. So what
right
are you
price.
giving up for
But
Joe
what
Milton?
you are, man, I would give a fourth or fifth round up for Joe
Oh,
Milton.
okay. Then the Jets are strapped for draft picks as it is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but look,
Pete,
man,
but you got to
here's
get a
the thing, though.
quarterback from
You're looking
somewhere.
how many quarterbacks we have seen quarterbacks that have been backups come out to be actually damn good starters. Hell, one of them. Well, I'll just use
Who?
the pinnacle. I'll use the pinnacle of it just to start off with. Brett Favre. Okay, we watched Matt Schaub go to the Texans. We watched Mark Brunell. These guys were backups. There's backups in the NFL that
Patriot
have turned.
fan?
It used to be. What? No, I'm not a Patriots fan at all.
Texans?
I'm a
All right.
Texans fan. Yeah, but
Welcome to
there
the
has
space,
been in
man.
this league, and
That's fucking
oh,
Mike,
thank you, man.
Petey.
Then after the past couple of now the past 10 years, it's kind of stopped. But used to how teams would go get their quarterback in their draft, or they're going to go find the best backup on the market and then try to make them a starter, see how it goes. But the whole recycling, Tyrod Taylor, we did Tyrod Taylor, man. I mean, it's a recycling. It don't get you fucking
I
nowhere,
agree
man.
with
I mean,
that.
it's like you might as
Exactly.
well chalk it and throw it away and be
But
Exactly.
he,
done
all
with it.
right,
But
It's
it
hear me
all
mostly
out.
it all
quarterback.
depends.
All
It
right,
all depends on where
yes,
the team is going
hear
in the
me out
direction.
though. I think the Jets are going to bring in a veteran. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know who it is.
We're not winning next year.
Hector, you
Bring in
don't
a
know
young
that
guy.
though. I'm
Petey,
not
I
going
know
to.
that.
You guys could say all you
Bro,
want, and people could say I'm pro. I don't give a fuck. I think the Jets are going to win games. I'm not saying they're
you
going to the
feel like,
playoffs, but
Petey,
I'm going to go on that for now.
I know.
Why can't
You
I?
feel like if you would have put me in a position 2 years ago, opening day, when we were stacked with Rodgers, not hurt, I would have said I would feel like you feel. But when I look at this team from top to bottom, I would rather let Tyrod Taylor start 1 or 2 games, have a guy like Milton, yeah, and let's see if he can learn something, and maybe he
So
turns
just
out
throw
to be a guy.
Milton in the
Or
mix, right?
Well,
He
no,
Petey,
hasn't
or
even played in
Petey,
any.
anybody else, Petey, or anybody else. We have to get a young quarterback,
Yes, I
and the way you
agree.
want to do it,
Petey, outside of the Saints, who's in worse shape than we are right now?
nobody.
Petey, don't let them
Cleveland.
hate on you. Listen, last year you
Hell
guys got
no.
all
They
excited.
have a
Yeah,
two-time
Cleveland.
coach of the year. Hell no. They got a
Yeah,
two-time coach of the year. They are not in
Cleveland,
worse
Cleveland,
shape.
they
How
are.
did he do
They
last
really
year?
are.
Cleveland's got cap problems. They got a quarterback that can't fucking do nothing. They
We all
got a
wanted him to
They
be
defensive
our
end that
coach.
wants
He
to
got let
their
it
leave.
go.
their age
They're in
want
a
to
shit show
leave.
right now.
They're at the bottom of the bin right now. They're struggling.
All
Okay,
right.
I
we'll
Well,
see.
you guys could go into the season and thinking you're going to lose. I don't do that. That's just me.
this so
But
this
that's
Petey,
cool.
this argument cracks me up because it's like last year with all the fucking signings, it's we're going to the fucking Super Bowl. You finish with 5 wins. Now this year, everybody wants to beat you up for having some sort of hope, dude. We broke our playoff drought with a new defensive coach with Tyrod Taylor, and we got rid of every one of our big name players in that offseason. Every single one of
Daly
them.
wasn't 30 years old yet.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, when you guys
Tyrod
trash
Taylor
Petey,
Dale
you
ain't
No,
say
played
it's
a full year in
a
context,
new
bro.
forever.
It's
coach can't make a
context.
Well, wait,
difference
but you're
and
telling me
you
that
don't
you're
stand a
all right.
chance is
Hold on.
crazy.
You guys are telling me that. Why did the Jets pay him fucking $7 million? He can win
He affiliated.
Because
He
of what they
affiliated
had
drop.
behind Aaron
Oh my
Rodgers the year
gosh,
before.
I'm going on mute. This is really frustrating today. I'm not gonna I don't want to yell.
I'd make the argument that you guys have more players, more talented players on your team than when we broke our playoff drought. I just think a coach and a culture change, if this is the right guy, can make that much of a difference. And for people to
I
think that that's
mean,
more of a fairy tale
Oh, let's go out
than
and buy
you
Tyrod
thinking
Taylor
last
jerseys.
year was a Super Bowl
Dale,
team.
Dale, can you name me like
Uh, uh,
12, 13
Buckeye,
top players on our
Buckeye, I'll
team?
trade you a Tyrod Taylor jersey for a Joe Douglas jersey.
Petey, I'm keeping my Joe Douglas jersey. Apparently, everyone likes Joe Douglas because Jordan Travis is not going anywhere. He drafted a gem, apparently.
Yeah, right.
I
I'm
mean,
just saying, Buckeye, when we broke our drought, we got rid of Darius, we got rid of Watkins, we got rid of all of our big name players, and we brought in guys like Lorenzo Alexander, who was basically a career special teamer,
Wow,
but he was a
Lorenzo
culture guy.
Alexander. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
like we
Dale.
didn't even fucking bring in any big name players. Kyle Williams was like the one good player we kept, who was older and a veteran that the coaching staff liked. But to sit here and think that it's more of a fairy tale that a coach can change a culture and make
Dale, no
maybe
one
give
said he
the team
can't.
things they didn't lack.
No one said he
Yeah, but
can't change a
everybody's saying that
culture.
to
What what
Petey
what
for
what I
saying he
said, this
thinks you
team
could
is
be
not
500.
ready to win.
It also lacks depth. I can't think of over 13 really solid good players that we have on the
But
team.
Hector,
15
Hector,
tops.
they have money now. Everybody's going to
So does
say that.
every other team.
Yes, okay, and people are going to sign, and they have 7 draft picks.
8 draft picks.
How many did we have with
Okay,
Idzik?
sorry, 13.
How many made the team?
So now I don't care about that. John
So
Idzik's one
now
of the
we
worst
have an
GMs.
untested.
So you're putting Darren Mugi, or however you say Muji, in John Idzik's book
No,
already when
what
he
I'm
hasn't
saying
even
is we
drafted.
don't know yet. He hasn't been tested. He hasn't done a damn thing for the Jets. Neither has Aaron Glenn. We'll see what
So why is
happens
it
this year.
automatic? Why is that? If that's the case, if you're saying that on one side of your mouth, why on the other side of your mouth is he being compared to the Idzik 12?
What I'm trying to say is these guys are untested. We got to give them a year and see what they do. We don't know. Do you think
Hold on,
because Aaron Glenn gives a good
how you
speech
feel
today
Aaron
that makes
Glenn
him
is
a top
untested
coach?
as
You just compared Muji to
Right.
Idzik.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I'm
What I
lost on
said
this
was
one.
Yeah,
we
it,
had
it, it
13
makes zero
draft
sense,
picks
Petey.
and none of them panned out. There's no guarantee that the guys we draft this year are going to pan out. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yes, there's no guarantee for
I
anybody
don't
though,
think we even
Hector.
have to assess what this staff is after this year. That's like, this is not a 1 year microwave
But
assessment
hear me.
here.
All right, but hear me out, Buckeye, again, and then Hole come in. Pause. Um, how, if Glenn and them don't, they said they have, read Josina Anderson's article, that they have talent here, that they just got to find ways to finish games and win. That to me, is not a full tear down rebuild. It's not. Let them. If the coach comes out and says the New York Jets are rebuilding, then I'm all in. Good. If they don't, then I expect to win games. That's my mentality. If you want to fan the way you fan and you think Glenn's going to be gone in 2
I
years,
didn't say
3
that.
years, Mark, who says he's going to be
I
gone if
never
they
said
draft
that, Petey.
Cam
I
Ward.
never said
No, I know. I'm talking to Mark now, Buckeye, respectfully. Mark, well, in 3
Petey,
years,
but
if we draft Cam Ward, okay.
do you expect Aaron Glenn to get up there and say, "Listen, we got no talent on this team. You know, just bear with me,
Well,
guys."
well, no
And
offense.
what does
Rob
that?
Sala
What?
did. Rob
Yeah.
Sala
What
said,
does
"Well,
that?
you're going to see." Rob Sala said, "You're going to see a lot of rookies play. It's going to be, you're going to see a lot of, He warned us.
I wish he kept his word on that.
Yep.
Well, they did. They broke a rookie record,
Uh,
the 2000 and whatever year it was.
and then we stopped playing all of our
I just think
rookies.
it's easy to judge Glenn in year one based on one standard.
Nobody's judging
If
him.
that team fights and you start to see a culture change on your team, then you're
Bingo.
headed in the right direction. That's the one thing you
I
judge about it.
agree.
But Dale, no one
I
said
agree with that.
differently. No one has said differently on that.
I think they are in Dell if it's going to be a winning record or not. If they're ready to win or not ready to win.
Curtis
It's
is in
not
favor.
even the winning record. Listen, if they could somehow be I'm just saying, be in the last hunt, who knows? You don't
They just got to be
know.
better than
Every
last
year
year,
there's a,
bro. They got to be
yeah,
better than
did
last year.
anybody, Dale, did you think the Broncos were going to be in the playoffs last year?
Fuck no, Petey.
Everybody picked them to have a fucking top 5 pick.
Petey, I want to hear from Curtis, but before that, just get ready for, with the third pick, the New York Jets select. Get ready for that.
Petey, all I can tell you,
Good morning.
Petey, all I can tell you is the majority of our fan base, when we let Darius and Watkins go with a new coach, thought we were cooked. Thought we were
Cam
fucking
Ward.
cooked.
Curtis, go ahead. You could start yelling too, because I hear all the air guns.
Yeah, you good. I just moved out of there. It should be quieter in here. All right. Good morning, guys. To the
Hey,
casual non.
we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers, which is good.
Yeah,
What's
this is
up?
good. It's a step up. I appreciate the sentiment of the non-Jet fans, but y'all are looking from a distant window that have no idea how bad I mean, this has been the worst coaching. I call Salah dark skin coat type. The dude was an idiot. He'll never be a head coach. He'll never be a head coach in the NFL again. I swear by that. I mean, like, he was just happy to be there. We're gonna learn. We're gonna get a lot of vagueness today, but we're gonna hear some things. I'm not. It's February still. I'm not talking about records until I see who the heck we signed and what's what. Um, it's just a step in the right direction. It's not going to be overnight. That's the problem with Jets fans. Everybody thinks it's a microwave. That's why we got stupid Aaron Rodgers in the first place. Um, it's going to take time, man. Let's see how this thing goes. I'm just tired of the arguing of the 3 wins or the compete. Let's see what we have. We don't have nobody signed yet, so let's see what's going on. All right, guys.
Hey, Kirk, that's nobody but Mark Torres with the 3 to 4 win thing. It's just Mark Torres.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it's more than Mark.
I just
I don't
as a
think they're winning
PD
much more than that.
as a Bills fan, I
I
didn't
can't
like
talk yet.
PD as a
No
Bills
problem,
fan. I
Mark.
didn't like the Aaron Glenn signing because I
Good.
think he is a culture guy. And ultimately, I think that everything that they got going on in Detroit, you got a firsthand representation of how you could turn one of the worst cultures in the NFL into something that now it's one of the
Exactly.
best cultures in the NFL. So I believe that the best hire the Jets could have made was a culture hire. The
And
X's and O's shit is on the coordinators.
Dale, let me piggyback that. Now you're not a Jet fan, but you're a AFC East dude, obviously. Aaron
Listen,
Glenn is a Jet. Like he said
Petey, when
he
we
wants
played you
to be
guys,
here.
and Petey, when we played you guys, your team quit early on in those games. It wasn't a team that was like fucking punch us in the mouth. Opening day, you were like that, and say what you want about Salah, but in the last 5, 6 years, them were the best Jets teams we saw. But that being said, you got a culture problem, dude. It's obvious,
Yep.
and ultimately, if that gets fixed and they get better, and line, dude. There's one thing I know about football, it's line. They're a right tackle away from having a really good offensive line, dude. Like really good. You got a lot of good
Yeah, well,
players on that
well,
line.
well, well. Here's the thing with the culture, and I believe Aaron Glenn can do this, but it's not going to be built overnight. We had the captain of the team tweet and delete,
Yes.
right? Like classless. We have my favorite player, wide receiver, who hasn't even expressed he wants to be here. We got a lot of work to do.
You
Got a lot of work to do to change a culture.
Yeah.
So when June is catching bullets about trading Garrett Wilson, it's not a talent thing he's trading. It's a if he doesn't want to be here thing. And if we're trying to build a culture, we can't have a guy who doesn't want to be here building a culture around that. That's what it's
Parcells
Thank
about.
come in
thank
here
you.
and make a statement and cut a core guy and tell him
Who cut what
you
core
want to go
guy?
like that. It could
But
be
what you're not cutting Quinn and Williams for
no, you
tweeting.
trade him. You make it.
Okay.
You make it
Okay.
Yeah,
culture
that's
bad.
you. Yeah, if you do that, you just gonna set your organization back.
But Petey, would you
This is
agree
the
that
same
tweet and
guy
delete?
who's complaining that we have no depth and no
Yeah,
holes and holes
exactly.
everywhere, and we want to trade.
Exactly.
We want to
And you
trade
got to put
and
what I'm
cause more
saying.
holes. They
No,
just made their statement. They just made
Yeah,
their
I'm
as
not
Aaron.
trading Quinn and
no.
Williams.
They
Yeah,
just
as
And we
they
Aaron.
have
just
Yeah,
made
if
their
you.
statement. They just made their we're the boss statement when they decided not to move. When they decided to move on from Rodgers. Now,
right.
whether that
A
was
38-year-old guy that
Whether
doesn't.
that was AG and Muji, or whether that was influenced by the douchebag owner, who knows? But it's going. That's their statement that hey, what was here ain't going to be what's going to be here. And I'm not talking about just the players. I'm talking about the attitude. I'm talking about the mentality. I'm talking about the culture.
You let me.
I
Hey
just
Dom,
know
where we getting our
when the
quarterbacks from
Lions
in the future?
listen, when the Lions culture started to change, they weren't a winning team. And you could see it
Correct.
taking shape. Like even though they didn't win, they played hard as fuck and were becoming a fucking tough team, and then gradually every year they got better to where now they're one of the best in the league. But I think their head coach is probably the least X's and O's guy of all the head coaches in the league, if not on the lower end. But he's the fucking one of the best culture guys. And to me, it's obvious. Look, I don't hate anyone that says, I don't care how good the fucking player is. If he's toxic to the locker room and doesn't buy in, get fucking rid of him. If you can get something like, dude, again, I don't want to get accused of a pedestal, Dom. I'm only using an example because I witnessed it with my team. Bro, they got rid of Sammy Watkins, who was our best player. Marcel Darius, who's our best player on defense, because they were terrible for culture, man. And look, Darius went and fizzled out because he was such a mess, and Watkins never lived up to his fucking potential. And as far as I'm concerned, them deciding to bring in guys that were going to put football first is the on top of us finding Allen. But I believe we would have been a meddling playoff team had we not found Allen just based on culture alone and the moves they made to bring guys that put football first here. We just got Allen on top of it. To me, that's the most important thing. And you see it with all these fucking dude, all these franchises that are bad that can never figure it out. They just keep continuing the same bad, toxic fucking culture and they never get out of it until they get a guy that turns that around and makes a team that's going to fight for 4 quarters and have pride and put football first. That's how you fix everything.
Dom, how would you, if you were in charge of this regime, what's your long term plan on how we get a quarterback in here?
Well, you keep taking swings until you find them. That's in a very high level simplistic view. You keep taking swings until you find them.
Do you
Tom,
think?
does that start
Do
in the
you,
second, third, or fourth round
that's what
this
I
year?
was going to
Well,
ask.
listen, if you're asking me my honest opinion, I don't know because I'm not like I don't think that there's a franchise caliber like face of the franchise quarterback in this class. No matter if you're picking at number one or no matter if you're picking at number 261.
Would you
Dom, if
try to
wait,
position
wait, wait,
yourself for
Dom, real
next
quick.
year
If
to
Dom, if
maybe get
Shador,
in there and get a
Hector, hold
quarterback?
on 1 sec. Dom, if Shador Sanders falls to 7, would you take him?
Um, it's a fair question, Petey. I probably would. I probably would because I think that I know that he comes. A lot of people like to put this negative connotation on Shador Sanders, the player, because of the baggage that comes along with his being the son of Dion and all that stuff. But I can tell you that Shador Sanders is probably one of the most headstrong, one of the most revered teammates. Like everybody who knows or has gotten to know Shador Sanders, has talked about him being a leader on the football team. So, that the why I said it would be a discussion point is because you bringing on if Shador the player is by himself, like if he's not if he's Shador Sanders, not related to Deion Sanders, I think it would be a no brainer. All right. Do I think he's a franchise quarterback? I don't think anybody in this class is really a franchise quarterback, but I think there's upside. I think there's potential in guys like him, in guys like Cam Ward. I think that they're even though I wouldn't want to turn the keys over to him, even in Jackson Dart. So like you need the perfect storm for a guy like Jackson Dart to be a starter. He needs the Jordan Love treatment. I personally, if I drafted any quarterback in this league, in this draft, I wouldn't peg him as a starter. I don't think any of them are ready to get the keys and drive the truck into franchise land.
Would
All
you
right.
try to
So
position yourself for
wait.
next year to try to get something? If
And
you,
positioning
Well,
yourself
listen,
is losing, Hector.
PD, do you want to win 5, 6 games, 7 games,
this
or
is the
set
same
yourself a
conversation
quarterback for the
over and
future
over and
for the
over.
next 10 years?
Well, answer the question, Dom. No offense, Hector.
What question?
Would you
That
try to
he's
position
saying.
yourself if your scouting staff tells you, hey, there's a couple of guys next year that we can, might be the real deal? Do you try to get some
Well,
draft
listen.
picks
So
to get there.
if I say if I say that, all right, like if Muji and Aaron Glenn decide that, kind of along the same lines of what I was saying, where like there's not, that this year isn't the year to really draft your quarterback, and you want to wait until next year, fine. You have a $7 million bridge on the roster. You want to bring in some veteran competition. You want to bring in a
I'm good with that.
Gardner Min.
Hey, who is Muji? I just wanted to
He's the
know.
GM.
He's the GM.
You
So let's see but that's my problem. Wouldn't the OC also be involved in this since he's gonna be more hands on with the quarterback?
Well, I mean, the general manager is in charge of the roster. The coaches are in charge
Right.
of coaching the players.
I
I'm
get
sure your
that, but
OC
Let
has
me just
plenty of
answer the question, and then I'm gonna go because I got to run.
okay.
But listen, at this time last year, we were all talking about, oh man, Carson Beck is going to be a top 5 pick. Quinn Ewers is going to be a top 5 pick. So in February of 25, it's really hard to assume who's going to be, like pack it in and just wait until next year, because you just never know what's going to happen next year.
No one's even seen Arch throw a ball.
Well, exactly, and no one even knows that Arch is coming out. That to me, that's the funniest part. Like he's got plenty of time. He hasn't been a starter yet. So we're anointing Arch, or the kid Nico from Tennessee. Like these guys can stay in college. They're getting paid now. The NIL is real. That money's real. These guys are getting big money. And again, you don't know how a guy's going to produce from one year to another. Hindsight from last year, we were thinking Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers were top 3 picks in the draft, right?
Right.
Not one person was talking about Cam Ward at this point last year. Why? Because Cam Ward had a good year. He got notice from the committee that he was going to be probably a mid-round, 3rd, 4th round pick. That's why he went back to school. And hey, good for him. He made the right decision, because he's arguably going to be the top pick, if not a top 3 pick at worst. So we have no idea what's going to happen next year. So in February of 25, am I ready to pack it in and say I'm going to get my quarterback in 26? No, because I don't know what's going to happen there. On the same token, I don't think taking a guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, even if his upside is, a future Tyrod Taylor, isn't a bad investment, because it doesn't preclude you from taking a shot at the franchise. Until you find the franchise quarterback, you got to keep swinging. Then that's my opinion. That's how I would do it, because that's how I would ask. But if Shedeur Sanders fell to 7, I would consider it. Yes.
So then that's answering the question. If Shedeur does fall, you would sit him for a little bit and start Tyrod.
I would say I would not turn the keys over to any of these guys.
I agree.
I agree with what Tom is saying. You'd sit Shedeur for like half a year if you can manage it, if Tyra can stay healthy, or longer if possible. Like, just give the guy a chance to actually become a pro. He's not ready to.
Hey, but what happened?
And Shedeur, and I'm going to say this about Shedeur Sanders, just from a higher level, he might not have, the arm talent of guys like Cam Ward or Jackson Dart, for that matter, Will Howard. They all are, they have stronger arms for sure, but there's something to be said about the way that he processes the game of football. He plays like a quarterback. He's accurate. He throws catchable balls. He can get through his progressions. All that stuff that not a lot of people talk about, because, they see all the extracurricular stuff that comes along with his dad being in the spotlight, all that, all that time. The guy Shedeur Sanders on the field, I'm telling you, and I don't know him personally, so I'm not saying it like that, but from people that I do know that have had, that are really in the know and have had talks and whatnot, and research and dig into these prospects, not one person has said anything but glowing reviews about Shador Sanders, the player on the field. On the field is different than the aura that his dad brings. Now, you gotta take that, that's part of the equation, because you're gonna have to swallow some of that stuff that his dad brings, and his dad being a presence and in the media and loud and boisterous and this and that. But the player himself, I think, gets a lot of undue hate. Is he the best quarterback? Is he the next Joe Montana? I'm not ready to say that. You know what I mean? But as a player, as a leader, I think he's pretty good. Good enough that he's going to get drafted very high. But to me, not good enough that I'm going to hand the keys over to him and say, this is your team. Lead it the way you see fit.
Is Hooker the best option for the Jets to trade?
Hendon Hooker is 27 years old already, right? He hasn't played a down. He's played a handful of snaps in the NFL, and coming out of college, strong arm, playing in college. The upside that you're going to get is probably very, very limited, right? Now, I also think that people are tying him to Engstrand because he's familiar, quote unquote, familiar with the offense. I don't think this is going to be Ben Johnson's offense. It might have some principles of Ben Johnson's offense, but I think we're in line to see a lot more of a traditional Bill Walsh kind of run-oriented West Coast offense.